Do not overcomplicate this. Kim Marie has done this and multiple times got a return. There's
We've
no
never
reason.
had credits put on our transcript. We've never had
there's
these dishonored.
no reason.
Let me speak to the negotiable instrument for a minute. Someone that I brought into my group that had a major success. I mean, I think it was 1.2 that came back to her in 2020 from doing a negotiable instrument. But she is a bona fide CUSIP holder that had dual citizenship, that is. She's been here for 10 years legally, meaning she has relatives and ancestors in Kazakhstan. She was training and learning how to do the negotiable instrument and was able to procure enough to get herself a house. Here's what the people that are teaching folks about negotiable instruments aren't teaching. So she came to me because after she got the big lump sum, she got an assessment that she thought was a bill. Whether it's a penalty, $5,000, or whether it's an assessment, because they went back 10 years to see anything that now that they know you have the golden pen, they want to go ahead and supercharge you. They know that those with the gold pay the debts, which is us. I need people to know how to settle their debts when they've been sent a bill from the IRS, or they've been sent child support payments that are late, or they've been entangled up in the system that does not see you as a living. They see you as a dead entity on paper. They see you as a fiction. I'm teaching you all how to, when you do get a traffic ticket, when you do get a bill from the IRS instead of a tax return, how many of us did not know we could pay ourselves on an ES and a voucher, prepay into our account. So when we do file our tax return, we're turning in our transcript to our tax preparer instead of our stack of bills, so they can itemize it for us. I'm charging the nanny who's been investing in me since 1967 to draw down those bond units for me, transfer those into spendable frickin' cash, and get it to me in a tax return. That's what we're learning how to do. We're flipping the tables right now. And we're doing it lawfully, and we're using information that's already been in the public. All right, I digress. We're learning how to pay our bills, set off our bills, rescue people using the ES. Even Marduk can use this for his dad, who got a purported bill. It's not in a bill. It's an assessment. The accounting firm over there said, oh, Marduk, since your dad's still alive, we went ahead and sent him a bill, but we haven't heard from him in a year. Can you get your pen out and pay the bill for him? And while you're at it, can you fill out an ES and a V so we can get money back to your father that belongs to him that's sitting in this escrow account? Care of, you guys, means the record keeper with the pen. That is my safety deposit box. Any federal agent working for the post office or any of its headquarters or any of its postal areas, territories under a postmaster general and TIGTA, tax inspector general, anybody caught injuring anyone in the public, losing mail, missing mail, whatever, okay, stealing mail, whatever, persona non grata. That means you are not able to get hired in any federal job again, and you certainly won't be able to be hired on someone's private ship or yacht. Just saying. Okay, because this is no joke business that we're doing. When you're protecting people's communications and their mail, their commerce, while we're in martial law and in a time of war, guess who gets protected finally for a change? Those arbitrating through the post.
Kim Marie, quick question for you.
Please.
If we haven't filed in the past 2 years, is it okay to go ahead and do the ESs and Vs first, or should we add all that together and send it all in?
I'm going to be headquarters where all the ships come in and dock and port when they need some provisions. Have you heard Patrick Devine preach and preach and preach? Our ship needs provisions. That's usually the only time a ship comes back into port. But what you do is you report that you're coming back into port. You're not filing, you're reporting. So your ES and your V is your report of the provisions you need to go back out at sea to do God's work. Tell them what you need. They can go and sell that bond, draw down the proceeds that you need, or the provisions that you need, the units, I call it units, because until you've been made whole, it's not a trust transaction. But they have a duty to perform for you. So that's why we, us power of attorneys, in fact, we fax everything. If I see a fax number on something, I'm like, oh, it's payday, because I know I get to fax to another exempt entity. You feel me? Bank to bank, private to private, trust to trust, organization to organization, fiducie to fiducie, all of it. Okay, I'm wearing all the hats. I'm the admiral, right? And I'm in charge of the purser in the back. I'm in charge of the commissioners in the back. I'm in charge of the fide commissary, making sure you get your out-of-pocket expenses paid back. If I took you out to sea for 6 months, don't you have to take care of your family back home on shore? Yes, you do. So we get to send those proceeds back home to hopefully to maybe a bank account that your wife or your partner has access to it, so they can feed the children while you're gone for 6 months deployed. You don't need to send everything with it at the moment, because you're reporting in from international waters, let's say, foreign jurisdiction, right? You don't have the keys to your Mort Main account. They're making sure your Mort Main gets protected and that someone hasn't hijacked your identification and trying to launder money, because they've already done a damn good job of taking over this country and stealing all of our identities and our shit. You're reporting to headquarters, the shipyard, where the headquarters and the accountants are, that can go to your bid bonds and your CUSIP bonds and say, he just ordered 250,000, and they'll draw down one of your bonds, they'll liquidate it for 250,000, and then you're filing a most recent, we're in tax year, fiscal year, we're in 2023. So you would file 2023 ESs, go ahead and do 2024s, you're welcome to do that. But you're going to file it could be any one of the 1099s. It could be a negotiable instrument. It could be once you got those credits on your transcript, and basically once you deposit it in the post office, it's considered deposited by special deposit. Just saying. So now you have a tracking number. Now you have a certified mail receipt number. Now you have, I don't recommend doing registered, because keep the registered for the package of securities that you're going to mail to your estate or your agent of service on land under agrarian law, because you need to send those securities to a record keeper in case you have to enforce, in case they dishonor your provision order, your money order. So the estate is who we take our claim to of loss, harm, or injury, because our estate is where the lawyer, record keeper, bookkeeper lives in the back office. So when we pay to the United States Treasury for credit to you just paid yourself in the future for a credit that you've yet to draw down. And you're paying the Treasury with the V, and they get paid to perform. Who do you think is paying the payroll for all these CID officers? Us. But not until we send in our money order, also known as a letter of credit or a document of title. Why? Because your SOCIA's on it. So yes, you can do it without delay, and I recommend you do 2023 and 2024, no problem. Go ahead and prepay them so they can utilize your units to fund the republics that are all standing up right now while you've been out at sea.
And if you haven't filed, I encourage you to look at the tax return, the 1040. Think on there. There's only one place you're going to need a couple places you're going to need to fill out, but I'll give you a hint. It'll say estimated tax. The way I did it, I put it in, I went backwards. It says, oh, you should, for the amended, I have to do the amended. It'll say add line 8 to 10, and put that in box 11, whatever. Run through all of your boxes, put in your estimated tax, wherever you're putting your estimated tax, it'll say it on there, and follow the directions of the form. Don't let it trip you up. When you get to the bottom, your calculation for amount you want refunded to you should be your whatever the value of your ESs are. I know this sounds confusing, but just go through the entire form line by line, okay?
We have to report.
Right.
In order to claim. The 1040 is simply the file, OMB file form number that we use to claim it. So we're reporting and claiming, reporting
It
and
is to
recouping.
return the taxes to you.
Exactly.
Yeah, the tax return.
Don't call it paying taxes or filing returns anymore. That's not what it is. They tricked us, you guys. Now they're keeping the system safe so that the average person who doesn't want to pick up instructions and read it, I figured this out. Nobody told me or showed me a template. And I had several people in my group that had mega debts with the Treasury and their state taxes. They owed a bunch of stuff because they too had been gone for 10 years and hadn't filed. I was an independent contractor. I never had anything to report to the nanny. I was 1099 or I was paid through my business bank account, PayPal. That was before Cash App. I never had anything I needed to report to anybody. So I had a lot. They went and assessed me when I re-upped my cosmetology license during COVID. That gave them the ability to go and assess the corporation that has a license to do business and work with the public in California. And they went back 10 years. And I got a bill for $47,000. And I'm like, make this make sense. Make this make sense. Something doesn't make sense. So I had to call them. She said, oh, you've got a cosmetology license, don't you? And I said, yeah. She said, it looks like you just renewed it. Because I had been lost at sea and gone. I had not even been using my license. I've been working in the private for so many years through my trust account. I've been gone from their system for 10 years. But I re-upped my cosmetology license that had been expired for 10. And that triggered, what did I do? I reported to them that I'm going to be doing hair or doing work or working with chemicals in the state of California. See, I work in the entertainment industry, so I was paid on 1099s as an independent contractor for the films or whatever I was working on. So at the end of the day, I wasn't in a salon where I needed to have my license renewed all the time. I was more like a wig maker. You don't have to have a salon, a business license on your wall if you're not working with chemicals. Since I was an extension artist and I was not working with chemicals, I didn't have to have a business license. But because I had a business license, I could only be an S corp because the state has to keep track of you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have not reported my taxes for 2023 yet. I usually wait until October. Say you are a 1099 employee or you get 1099 forms or even like a K1 form. Am I still reporting that in addition to the ES and the V?
So I did. My amended is still including all. I'm not taking anything off of my 2023 in terms of what was reported. So if it depends, right? I mean, I don't. No, she hasn't reported yet.
Okay, let me speak to that specifically, Marduk, because we don't want to send people off to the left and the right. Since she's not amending, let me speak to a first-time file. And you said to me you have a K1?
Yes.
And you said something else?
I don't have a 1099. I was just asking, just like an example. Are we still reporting all of our tax forms that we get?
Okay, so listen, this is huge. This is huge if you have a K1. This is huge. Everybody listen up. The K1 that was sent to you is a document of title evidencing credits that you have and hold that belong to you on the private back office of the ledger. So you checkbox whichever file parts of your K1, you could literally just send page 1 of your K1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the page that shows the amount of credits that you're due.
Like the boxes. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So you could just send that one, check mark it at the top. If you have a CAF number, stamp the top with a CAF number. If you don't, put the tracking number on top. Because what are you doing? Record keeping, and you're tracking your securities and your assets until you're made whole. So you can do the ESs and the V. You could do 2024 if you want. It can trail along with your envelope if you want, but I would slam that K1 in there. It's not going to hurt you. And the K1 may cause the tax return to be returned to you without delay.
You know, now as I sit here and think about it, I also have a 1099R distribution form as well.
Oh, good.
Same account.
Perfect. Because see why they're teaching us about the B's right now, you guys, is people don't realize that we get to get 10 times the amount for loaning out our golden signature. So they're trying to show us how to get back our securities, our barter. Okay. Mm-hmm. The trust or estate that you're receiving benefits from benefited from your funds for a fiscal year. They have a duty to give you a portionment of it because without you, the trust would not exist. You're just coming in and saying, I would like 3 times the amount back because I'm going to benefit from discovery right now because I didn't know I could actually pay my Social Security person using these as statements and documents of account of my worth. These are units, drawdown from a bond that's already happened. They've liquidated them. They've turned them into a credit due and payable to you on a statement. I bet you anything, ladies and gentlemen, if she went into her portal, did an ID me, and went into her portal, I promise you she'd see her K1 and her 1099-R in there showing a negative sign in front of her amounts because it means, for those with eyes to see, she has some collectibles credits she left on the side of the shore.
What if it's not negative?
The transcript would show a negative. Have you seen the transcript?
I'm going to look at it right now, but yeah, they do get reported.
Yep, the transcript is going to show, you're going to see withholding. What did the trust withhold? And that's the money that they used for the year. And then at the end of the year, you get a statement of distribution because they have to do their job and make sure you get paid something. If there's not a negative, then that is oh my gosh, I'm getting ready to explode like a volcano right now. If it's not a negative, you take that bill of exchange, that document of title, and you immediately triple the amount that's showing on your transcript, and you pay yourself. They used your signature. You didn't benefit except for 1/3 of it, and you're now calling back all of it times 3 by doing an ES and a V.
Which transcript?
Any transcript. So her K1 is considered a transcript. Her 1099-R is considered a transcript. They call it a if you go and look in your she would look in her wage and investment, her WI portal, because you can look at different transcripts. There's a transcript of account. There's a wage and investment transcript. That's the one you want to look at. That's where you're going to see those credits. And the banks hope that we abandon those credits. So at the end of the year, if we don't claim them, like she's about to do on an ES, plausible deniability, you abandon them. Sorry, little girl, pat you on the head. Sorry, you don't know what you're doing in banking, but we're going to go ahead and take those funds and invest in Ukraine. Don't get me started.
So they're all positive.
Okay. Did you look on wage and investment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for sure, go ahead and print those pages out. What the positive amounts you're showing, what that transcript is showing you got to know how to read these. This is how much our little Benny produced for us this year. You now have a basis to go, excuse me, I got a little tiny dividend paycheck monthly, and y'all are making this much, and I just found out from an angel that I can get back a lump sum tax return by just voluntarily reporting the energy and currency that I created by my documents of title. Have a look at this, and this will justify why I just did an ES and a V. Thank you for your service. You just won the lottery. In any gambling scenario, don't we have to go trade our chips in that we win at the poker table? Your documents of title, your transcript is your chips in this game that we're playing. This is the new heaven Monopoly game, by the way, where there's actually unlimited script or units or funds in our private main escrow offshore accounts. We have unlimited credit. That's why we're getting all the bills. They're looking for the responsible party with the golden pen. We're actually funding the Republic, though, right now, instead of the banks for a change. Anybody have any questions about that? I'm happy to break it down.
I have a quick question because there's been some debate, which I'm like thinking is kind of crazy. Some people are saying that on those ESs and stuff and the Vs that it's supposed to be negative on the front and the back. And I thought it was positive on the front and negative on the back. Can you clarify that so that we can clarify that?
I'm gonna clarify it for everybody from now until the cows come home, so y'all don't have to worry about none of did I do it right or did I do it wrong? All right. 9/10 of any law, and I'm talking God's law, trust law, state law, bankruptcy law, all of it. 9/10 of the law is intention, right? Does everybody know that here?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So tell me, read to me what you put. What's the first sentence on the back of your vouchers?
Pay to
the U.S.
Treasury.
United States.
Now, what's the second sentence?
To 250,000.
The amount?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but hold on. You're missing a couple words. Hold on. What does the second sentence say on yours?
Oh, is
it just the money amount?
Oh,
is it just the money amount? Yeah. What's the next sentence? Yeah. What's the next sentence?
The amount written out.
Okay, that's fine. What's the next one?
For credit to.
For credit to.
Thank you. Stop. Stop. What did you just do? You ordered and you prayed. You ordered and you prayed. You said, pay to the order of the United States Treasury, who's my secured party, who has all my cookies in my cookie jar offshore.
Yep.
And you said for credit to who?
The social.
Thank you.
Yep.
And if it's a 1041, you said for credit to the EIN of the trust.
Mm-hmm.
I got a Benny over here that's asking me for some more change. I got to do some filing now, work for my money.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you just do?
Thank you for clearing that up.
Okay, so now, so you guys said, you remember what you said the second line was? I'm sorry, I wasn't clear enough. The second line, tell me what the second line was now again, one more time.
The amount written out.
So when you write out in cursive, when you write out an amount, is that not law also?
It's like a check. Yeah, you're right.
Did you not write in cursive?
Yep.
An order of an amount to be credited. You not only wrote the negative sign, but you wrote the dollar amount.
Right.
Now you tell me, does it matter if there's a plus sign, a heart, a negative, or anything on that fucking thing?
I'm putting a middle finger. No, I'm joking.
I'm getting chills in the back of my head, and I mean no disrespect, but can you see clearly now?
Yep.
You gave an order and a prayer, and you could not have been any clearer to the dispatch team.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Which form are you asking about? I'm sorry.
It's the endorsement on the back of the ES and the V. She's talking about
the front too, because some people was trying to say they were supposed to do the front negative, and I'm like, why?
It don't matter. It don't matter. Everybody's been taught. We got a school of fish out here swimming in the ocean sea of commerce. Everybody's bumping into each other like bumper cars because they think their way's the right way. Can you say a religious cult?
Yeah. Patrick Devine, he would do like a negative 1040.
Even I'm telling you.
Right.
I'm even telling you all, you own that shit and you're going to get paid. You can put a heart in front of it. You can put anything, as long as your directive is clear enough and you wrote the dollar amount out. I've even made a mistake and made my dollar amount lower than what I put with the negative sign in front of the dollar amount. Okay, they get it. That's why they're going to look at they're the bean counters. They're going to look at your ES. They're going to look at the V. They're going to look at your K1, or they're going to look at your transcript, or they're going to look at your money order, which is your tax return. And they're going to make the adjustment. They want to get you liquid. They want you to have the provisions. They just don't want the bad guys to have them.
And
Yeah.
and I wanted to also share, like, I know that there are people who have filed and they're doing 1040 X's, and then there are people who have not filed that may have W-2s. I don't know if you all know about the 4852 form from the IRS, where,
Yes, we can go into that a minute. That is a whole class on itself, recouping your labor from box one. Let's talk about that in a minute, but I want to share with you all something. You don't even have to, when you file for the first time, even attach your W-2s in your first one. Get your shit out, get a return back, and then relax and take some time and pull your W-2s out, because we can always amend. It's just peanuts you're getting on the withholding from the W-2s anyway. Get your ESs and your voucher, get your chomp, get your big change back first, and then go back and amend.
Right.
You feel me?
The back of my ESs and V, it doesn't have anything on the back of the vouchers. It's just the front side. Did I?
Hold on, stop everybody. He's going to get his power right now. Watch me.
Thanks.
Tell me what normally in the course of commerce, in the world grew up in, what normally is on the back of any check?
An endorsement line.
Okay, cool. So how many times have you seen the bank go ahead and put a stamp on the back and deposit that for deposit only?
Many times on mortgages, all sorts of shit.
Right? The bankers just have a stamp because they're constantly having to endorse, right?
Right.
Endorse.
Right.
Are you with me?
I am.
Who's the bank now?
We are.
Why?
Because we are the estate, and that's where the money's located.
And right, we're ordering the credits. We're ordering the drawdown of the credits from our mort main, aren't we?
Yes.
So are you not directing a endorsement with a little directive and a prayer to issue credits to your social person who's got a little tugboat in commerce trying to get business done?
Correct.
So why would they be blank? What are they waiting for?
They're waiting for us to sign it, I guess, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So are you with me? You just circled the square. So they're waiting for your authorization, your directive, and your prayer. We're in a covenant with the Father. We're the original trust. My heart's beating right now because I'm in his trust. And he's trusting me to keep that heart safe. You feel me?
Sure, I do.
Okay.
So we are just to sign the back of it, even though there's nothing on the back. We are to go ahead and do that anyway. I got you. Okay.
Yep. Can you guys see my certificate of deposit of the 1.8 right here?
Where did you say to send it, Marduk?
To the ES address.
Oh, right. Yep, that's where I sent my stuff.
Yep. They don't get paid until that V gets processed. You feel me? All right. Can you see my picture on my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So to the right, what you're seeing, I made magnets out of both of these. Okay. This is my magnet. Who am I processing for? This is my little minor girl who grew up. She was a Jane Doe and now she's an HM. You feel me? All right. To the right, this is a notice of delayed availability for 1.8. So they gave me a little bit of it. And then they said, we're taking this action because the deposit was more than $25,000 in a public, unsecured bank account, basically. Okay. Can you see that? Why I made this a magnet is it inspires me every day when I get up to work on my paperwork. This is my two trustees. The check came in the name of both of my Kimberly A. Teeter TR and HM Kimberly Daniels TTEES. And that's my business address. You got business with my trust. You got business with my estate. Here's your care of address, right? Down here at the bottom is my CAF number. That's the owner. I don't have a ship without a beneficiary causing me to have a ship. and have a purpose and have a business and be a trustee and be a fiduciary, right? We're always processing for the benefit of another. We just got to know who the other is, right? The another is. All right. So that's my CAF number. And I posted my picture when I was 17 years old, graduating from high school on this. And this went into my notarized document where I was verifying my identity with the bank, who decided to freeze my account. All seven of my accounts. After about 30 days, I had the funds in there, but I opened up 5 accounts for my business, my LLC bookkeeping nonprofit business. And they basically, the IRS agent saw the deposit, went to work on figuring out how to trump up some charges against me, because I know how to pay my bills. I know how to do ESs. I know how to get my liens released. I know how to do all that. So I promise you, if I would have gotten a bill for 2.3, I would have known about it. So that what they did was they did not notify me first. The agent conspired with the bank in the back office, and they froze my ability to download all my all my bank statements and everything. They just froze my access online. And by the way, that's 18 USC violation. And it's also a Hobbs Act violation because they kept me from my business records and my personal checking and savings account records. So I'm showing this to you to give you a context for what I'm about to show you. The federal comptroller of the currency. Can you guys see this? My telegram?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Michael Sue is where the comptroller of the currency for the nation, indentured trustee for all the claims, is the office of the comptroller of the currency. They regulate banks and their customers, making sure that customers are getting treated fairly. That's your chief judge of banking right there. Okay. Who's going to pay me my writ of restitution and my injury and my harm and my loss for my settlement is the comptroller. But the Treasury has CID, Criminal Investigation Division, and they have to go in and audit whatever bank I'm claiming took my funds without giving me prior written notice. That's called theft. Then there's Eric M. Smith, headquarters U.S. Marine Corps, attention, public relations, and what? Who can read that? What's that say?
Investigations.
Thank you. Special operations, Pentagon at your service. Who do you need us to investigate and go in and grab their records and audit? If it's $600 or more that was taken from you, or seized, garnished, whatever's, you get to put that on a 3949A and an 8300. Okay. But I want to show you why, because all of this are all dunce numbers. Look at this. Look at who has been taking from us without our knowledge. IRS dunce number is allegedly a bureau in U.S. Department of Treasury, which has an immediate parent called Executive Office of the United States Government, which has a parent called Government of the United States. Below, in addition to the information on these entities, is 1111 Constitution Avenue and a fax number. Who do you think's operating that fax number right now as an indentured trustee, receiving all of our claims? Who do you think is behind that fax number right there?
Where is the fax number?
Right here. I can't highlight it. Shoot.
We can't see it.
Oh. See the EINs? State of.
Yes,
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All those dunce numbers.
Yeah.
All of them are bankrupt, folks. And here, this leads you back to who's the parent company? The government of the United States, a franchise of a private entity, offshore monarchy. U.S. Department of Treasury, also known as the Treasury or Treasury Department, is the primary federal agency responsible for economic prosperity and security of the U.S. In addition to conducting monetary functions such as federal budgeting, currency production, and taxation, the Treasury also oversees some aspects of enforcement, economic policy, and international treaty negotiations. Treaty. Office of Terrorism and Financial Intelligence. 1500 Pennsylvania Avenue, where we sent all of our W-4s last year. You don't think those people got audited? You bet they did. Now let me come back over here and read this to you. Now that you've seen that, I really want you to see this.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, here we go. Someone else is hopping in. Okay, good. I'm going to read this to you, and I want you to understand a mortgage and a foreclosure is not just homes and cars, you guys. It's not the subprime markets. It's not even stock markets. It's the foreclosing on any corporate entity that has violated 18 USC, any one of us in the last 5 generations. Can you say acquisition much? Can you say it's all been Robin Hooded back like a boss? All right. All U.S. banks have been purchased by the new U.S. Treasury. I'm going to read that again. All U.S. banks have been purchased by the new U.S. Treasury, which has relocated from the death cult, Washington, D.C., 10 square miles, to the Sparks Indian colony near Reno, Nevada. A colony is a free space where chiefs and owners are townships and they govern their own affairs. They're no longer on the reservation. Results of a military investigation found that some bank owners secretly received a full loan payment immediately after a homeowner signed mortgage papers, but continued to require and accept monthly mortgage payments from the homeowner. They were double dipping. Here is what has been happening for decades. In the early 1940s, as birth certificates were started and generally accepted as legal documents, corrupt politicians kept the original documents, monetized and sold them on the stock market. Parentheses. Parents received copies, not originals. The politicians dipped into this hidden and illegal slush fund created from the sales. The shame was finally revealed by military investigators in the next few weeks. All legal profits made from birth certificates will be returned to each of us. Has there ever been a time to send in your ESs? Did they not just say returned to you? In answer to questions about a debt jubilee or forgiveness of all debts, for over a year now, citizens have looked forward to the benefit from the new laws of the Republic. It was finally legalized by Mr. Trump on Wednesday, the 10th of July, 2024. They took my money on the 5th, by the way. They froze my accounts on July 5th. The United States Treasury will send out a computer algorithm to each bank to zero out all mortgage debt, credit card debt, car debt, etc. Changes are coming in home ownership, foreclosures, and taxes. Okay? That's big. That covers it all. Remember I told you foreclosure is not just houses. They cannot use our Mortmain account, our UCC contract trust account. They cannot have conflict of interest, Chris account. They have no more incentive to be arresting people and detaining them at all. They don't get to use our private side of our ledger anymore. We're the owners. That's why we're having to verify our identity. We're foreclosing and closing out and liquidating all those accounts and units and credits that have been sitting there that we abandoned. Beginning in August, mortgages will be tokenized with a blockchain platform. That just means instantly settled our claims. Instantly. Details will be coming. It started with the farmers of America. They have used their farm machinery and family home as collateral for security of loans. Amen.
Yep, I watched them. I watched
That's
them.
right.
I delivered all their checks.
You're saying you actually witness farmers get big checks.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
my Lord. That's amazing. Everybody heard that. So we are the electors now, not the voters, just so you know. They're using the word voter and citizen to actually audit all of the different states who've been operating as rogue agents for the British Crown. Don't get me started. Next to be financially reimbursed are the American Indians, the debt relief to all U.S. citizens. Okay, fine, perfect, love it. That's your ES form. If you're using your social on an ES form to draw down credits, you're using your public 2- social security number. You're reporting back to headquarters, right? You're coming out of bumper cars and you're coming into the ship's harbor, safe harbor, so you can get your provisions. We don't want to abandon those credits that public person in commerce created all these years. We want to collect a portion of it so we can go back out to sea and do our jobs. So we were given these references, those of us that are trustees, estate planners, wealth managers, credit recoupers, out of debt creators, people who understand both sides of the ledger, were shown this. This is a public service announcement. They showed us who the indenture trustee of the bankruptcy is, and that's this guy right here. Want to go to the top with your claim? You have a business that has a claim against the United States corporation franchise that poisoned you. Now there's an actual organization that your corporate entity can send your claim of harm. If your ship got sunk during 2020, one of your businesses, you now have a place you can send your security interest and your writ of restitution as a sovereign. Your ESs and your V is kind of like a writ, but we're using their OMB forms because that's what they know how to work with. Okay, does that make sense why I sent it there? Everybody, when the bank froze my funds?
Makes sense.
Awesome. Okay, cool. I'm going to stop talking for a minute.